Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Melissa Blake. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I am passionate about two things. I'm passionate about education. I think that it is our greatest opportunity to be able to make informed decisions and choices about our health. And as women, I think that is particularly important. And I'm also passionate about the things we can do on a consistent daily basis that have a huge impact on our overall health and wellness. And I call these things power habits. So today is a review, kind of putting it all together, everything that we've talked about over the course of the last few videos related to the menopausal transition. And so I'm going to start with this quote. Balance is not something you find, it's something you create. And again, I think especially as women, we need to take an active role in our own health. And when we know more about how our bodies should be working and are able to tune into the signs that are indicating something is off, we can ask more informed questions and make more informed decisions about the next steps. We can demand better healthcare. And I think this is especially important for women entering into the menopausal phase of their life because there are so many of us. By the year 2030, the global population will include about 1.2 billion women who have entered menopause. That's about 14% of the global population will be women in menopause. And that seems like an overwhelming statistic. And there's also a lot of power in those numbers, right? We collectively make up a substantial percent of the population. And with that comes an opportunity to demand more, demand better, demand answers. Because we are not just a bunch of puzzle pieces on a table, right? We are the beautiful image that is created when we put those pieces together. And every woman comes with her own unique set of pieces, and each image is therefore unique and special. And this is kind of at the foundation of naturopathic medicine. We are more than the sum of our parts. And because of that, we deserve a medical approach, not just during menopause, but maybe especially so, that is comprehensive and it takes into account all of these unique and complex components on an individual level. So rather than reducing a woman to her symptom or lab marker or age, we need to take a more holistic approach. And that would lead to effective, personalized plans that address individual experiences and preferences based on this complex network of interacting factors. So again, if you are a patient listening in, I know it can be frustrating when you're not receiving that type of care. And that's why I'm encouraging you to learn as much as you possibly can so that you're going into your doctor's office empowered and informed and able to ask the right questions. And if you can't get the right answers, you move on to someone else who can help you. So I've really been thinking a lot about the number of different stressors that can influence a woman, especially in that perimenopause, menopause phase. And this is known as the sandwich generation because we often during perimenopause, menopause find ourselves in this unique position of potentially providing care for their children and their aging parents, both at the same time. In addition to that, we have a lot of other balls in the air. So if you do or don't have children or do or don't have aging parents, there are lots of other things that we are managing at this point in our lives. Often there is a career, right, that is maybe full in motion, right? So we might have worked our way up into high responsibility and a high demanding workload. We have household, everyday, today kind of things that we need to manage. And then on top of that, we have maybe not new symptoms, but a changing symptom picture. right? So things like fluctuating hormones can contribute to sleep disturbances, mood swings, hot flashes, a change in our ability to maintain intimacy, right? Vaginal dryness, low libido. So it's this simultaneous management of all these major life transitions that can lead to a lot of emotional and physical strain. So it really does emphasize that women in this demographic have a high level of need for support and resources. But it's not all bad news. So these were the results, and I found them really interesting. It's a 4-question satisfaction survey that's delivered over the phone, and collects information about data in the US. And it's all about self-rating your level of happiness. And what they found was that there is a higher level of happiness early in life. These individuals were all adults, so 18 plus, that kind of diminishes until about a low end of about 44. So at the age of 44, our happiness levels are at a kind of all-time low. And then gradually over time, and then exponentially as we age, going up to the age of 80, our happiness level, subjective happiness level, increases. So, I think the silver lining here is that menopause is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to step into that next phase, to put our own health and wellness first. Even with all those balls in the air, there is an opportunity for happiness and joy throughout menopause, to thrive throughout menopause. And I know I've stressed a lot throughout the course of these videos that menopause is natural and normal, but there definitely is a sense, especially in our Western world, that age, especially aging women, they cease to be important. They lose sexual appeal, they lose reproductive capacity, and there's a sense that we're no longer important. However, in many cultures, there's a hypothesis known as the grandmother hypothesis, where they suggest that menopause is actually in place for a reason. There's an evolutionary advantage to having women go into menopause, and it frees up their resources and their energy to put towards the next generation, right? So whether it's their own grandchildren or community, this cessation of fertility, according to the hypothesis, enables grandmothers or older women to play a really important role in raising and nurturing children in their own lives, their own family, or in the community. And so it really does underscore this kind of pivotal role of grandmothers or older women in human evolutionary history. And there are communities who maintain this perspective, and they value older women as an integral and essential part of the success of their families and broader communities. So again, an opportunity for us in North America to really pull in some of those beliefs, right? That there is potential for strength and resilience and social contributions, and really start to challenge the notions that often associate menopause solely with loss. So with all that said, let's talk about some power habits to help support balance during the menopausal transition. So again, for context, if you're not familiar with the work that I do and the content I create, power habits are evidence-based strategies that you can implement in your daily routine that have a huge impact on your quality of life and your overall wellness. So I have some general power habits that I think everyone can incorporate, and that makes it easier to incorporate healthy living and a healthy lifestyle. But these are specifically tailored towards the woman who is entering and transitioning through menopause. So they're kind of hyper focused on how you can create more balance specifically during that time in your life. I also want to mention that there is a handout that goes with this particular part of the talk. So you should have received that by email. If you haven't, if you don't have it on hand, I would encourage you to pause and go back to that email and either print it out or bring it up on your screen, because there are additional details as part of that worksheet and also a place where you can keep notes. So the first power habit as we transition through menopause is to learn to lift. And I know this can be a little intimidating if you're new to lifting weights, but strength training has shown to be extremely beneficial all across our life, but especially as we move into menopause. It promotes stronger bones and stronger muscles, both of which are really important for stability. So we're less likely to fall, less likely to be injured. It's also associated with stronger heart, boosting cognitive function, can lift a low mood and reduce stress. And if you've been following along, we know that all of those systems are under more stress as we enter menopause, right? We're at a higher risk for cognitive decline and heart disease and obesity, metabolic disease. So all these things increase, and strength training can reduce those risks. In addition, that whole stress piece, remember, it's more than just about estrogen. It's more than just about our ovaries. Our adrenals and our thyroid also play a role in supporting a healthy transition through menopause. So if we can reduce our stress through exercise and strength training, we can quench some of that cortisol that contributes to irregular sleep patterns and weight gain, and can exacerbate or make worse all the symptoms that are associated with menopause. The thing with any kind of new habit, so again, this goes for all of the power habits, is to start small, right? So whether you're already a lifter and you want to just gradually increase maybe the number of days or the length of time you spend lifting weights, or whether you're brand new, start small. Start with 5 minutes twice a week, and then gradually increase. What we're doing by starting small is we're setting ourselves up for success. I know you've been there. I've been there many times where I've thought, okay, I'm going to start this new habit. And let's use exercise as an example. I'm going to exercise at 6 o'clock in the morning for 60 minutes, Monday through Friday. And maybe Monday, I'm successful. Tuesday, I'm successful. Wednesday, something happens where I sleep in a little longer or something else comes on my schedule. I don't do it. I don't do it Thursday. I don't do it Friday. And all of a sudden, I feel like a failure, right? We are so much more likely to stick to a habit if we make it realistic, if we make it something we actually can commit to, and that creates a momentum and a success loop, right? We feel successful, we are proud of ourselves, and we want to do more of it. And then you can start to increase it. The second power habit is to focus on fluid. And there are so many different ways that we can incorporate water in our lives, but hydration and menopause symptoms definitely go hand in hand. Being dehydrated can make symptoms of menopause worse, and certain menopause symptoms increase our water requirements. Things like hot sweats, constipation, vaginal dryness, joint pain, urinary tract infections. All of these are signs that we could drink more water to counteract some of the inflammation and increased fluid loss. So here are a couple of tips. One is to carry a water bottle with you wherever you go. Find one that's small enough to carry in a purse or carry a backpack. Keep it in car, your desk, next to the sofa, in your gym bag, wherever you can. Put water there to make it easier, to create that visual cue. So when you see the water bottle, it reminds you to drink. I often have patients say that they don't like the taste of water, and that's an easy fix. You can use whatever you want to flavor your water. Ideally, something that doesn't have a lot of sugar in it or that is more natural, like lime or lemon. There are so many different recipes online to do like fruit and veggie soaks. So you slice up some cucumber, some basil, some strawberry, and you soak your water overnight. And it just adds that little bit of flavor. The other idea is that, it doesn't have to be just plain water. So carbonated water or club soda is a great option. And herbal teas are also a great way to get some medicinal benefit as well as some flavor, and it still counts as your water. The other thing that's really popular right now, but for good reason, is using contrast therapy. So using alternating hot and cold. And I am a huge fan of using water in this way. And it is a very traditional naturopathic therapy is hydrotherapy or water therapy. So I've used hydrotherapy in my practice since I was an intern at the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine in Toronto. I immediately incorporated it in a very significant way when I opened my own private practice, and I try to incorporate cold contrast in my own personal life as well. So this is something that you definitely want to start slowly with. You can aim for just a cold 5-second burst at the end of every shower, and you want to gradually increase that again if you can. This isn't something you absolutely need to push. Even 5 seconds has some benefit, but the idea here is that we're creating a positive stressor and our bodies respond in a positive way to that cold burst. It is invigorating. It helps to reset the nervous system. Generally, people feel like their energy level goes up. So I'd encourage you to play around with this. It doesn't have to be a shower. It can be putting your feet in the snow outside. It can be just stepping outside, especially if maybe you could not wear a hat or zip down your coat and just spend a few minutes in the cold. So really using cold water as a way to focus on fluid and create that power habit. The third power habit is to take up space. And I think that menopause is just such a perfect time to really lean in to putting yourself first, making yourself a priority. And I have two kind of options here to practice this power habit. The first is to get comfortable with asking for support. So if you've listened to the hormone therapy video, the big key takeaway that I was trying to emphasize in that video is that hormone therapy is best taken early in your menopause journey. So as soon as symptoms start, that's the time to ask for hormone therapy, right? Don't expect your symptoms to disappear. Don't expect people to understand. Communicate to get the support you need, right? Make that appointment at your doctor's office. Make that appointment to see an acupuncturist or a massage therapist or a chiropractor or a naturopathic physician. Ask for help and get what you need, right? Don't wait. Don't suffer through. The second thing is to explore a passion. And so, again, often during menopause, women have a lot of balls in the air, but there also might be a room for a little bit more space. Maybe if you do have children, they've moved out of the home. Maybe you aren't working as much, right? Or you have more vacation time you can take. There's often room to really figure out, hey, what is it that I want to do with the next chapter, right? So lean into that, explore a passion, see menopause as an opportunity. Journaling is such an amazing way to explore what it is that you really want and to be intentional with your choices moving forward. And that leads us to power habit number 4, which is to keep a record. And this can come in many different forms, but I've said it before that if you don't track it, if you don't measure it, you can't change it. And that definitely is the case. I feel like many of us are on autopilot, especially as we move into our 40s and 50s. We are in a routine, right? And we don't question that routine. We don't question goals sometimes. We don't question our daily habits. So, keeping a record, using a journal to really put our thoughts on paper and analyze them, to use them as a tool for self reflection is extremely powerful and can provide you with some insights that you may not have otherwise noticed. A gratitude journal is just such an amazing thing, amazing tool, and the research around gratitude is significant. This doesn't have to be formal. It can be taking a picture every day with your phone. It could be verbalizing something you're grateful for at the end of every day. It could be sharing your gratitude with your friends and family. Whatever way you want to express gratitude, it's definitely going to give you back much more effort than it takes. And I think also this is an opportunity for us to really fine tune not just our labs and our goals and our concerns or symptoms, but also our nutrition, right? As we go into menopause, as we maybe are starting to do more strength training or becoming more aware of bone health, we want to start maximizing our nutrition and fine tuning and honing in. And again, if you don't track it, it's really hard to know exactly how well you are doing or what your nutrient status really is. So, highly recommend tracking it in an app, which will then give you some feedback as to whether or not you're meeting the recommended goals that are set out for you, your age, and your activity level. So I do have some guidelines in terms of protein, calcium, and magnesium doses in the handout. I would also encourage you to have a vitamin D level tested, and consider some supplements in whatever area maybe is low on a consistent basis. So again, recalibration. Menopause is an opportunity, right? We can recalibrate, we can re-examine whatever is important to you, your thinking, your plan, a system of values, and we can correct it in accord with new understanding or purpose. And that is really what power habits are about. It's really what my purpose is through creating this content, is to give you little nuggets of information or a new way of thinking about something so that you can then course correct, you can recalibrate, right? And so the concept of recalibration can be aptly applied to the transition to menopause because our body experiences numerous changes during this phase. Hormonal shifts, physical functions can change or be modified, emotional responses can become unpredictable. And so this process kind of gives us some glitchy moments, hot flashes, mood swings, irregular periods. But it's important to remember this is a natural progression in the cycle of life. It's not a malfunction. And with appropriate support and care and a few power habits, these transitional hiccups can be managed effectively, and women can be guided through this profound life stage with grace and strength. Thank you so much for listening and wishing you all the best. See you next time.